which we often go with locusts. Or I know when I was younger, there was this fat little green and black or blue insect that had wings, and you know, we were taught they were locusts. That's not a locust. You know what a locust is? A grasshopper. Orthoptera, they had the same look. Let me just go back to the scripture. In verse 21. These may ye eat, a very flying creeping thing. So they have wings. They go up upon all four. They have the four legs, which have legs above their feet to leap withal upon the earth. Those are those two back legs that they have, that they can also hop. They can walk, they can hop, they can fly. Okay? This particular species. So what you find with the word that's translated as locust, bog locust, beetle, and grasshopper, they're actually characteristics of this species here. Bed, solam, chago, and the last word is chagal. And this means concealment. Because one of the things that they're also able to do, they're able, or they've been given the ability to camouflage themselves, so that sometimes if you're trying to, like when I was younger, I used to like catching grasshoppers. You know, just catch them, let them go, so forth. But, you know, if you get them, you grab them by them two back legs. But if they get away and you try to look for them, it's difficult finding them because they blend so easily with the grass and the plants. Because the Creator made them that way. Okay? To escape their enemies, so to speak. All right? So, again, the species is called Orthoptera, and these are the Hebrew terms. The verse that these words come from is Leviticus 11:22, and just look those up at your convenience. Again, I apologize for not having the strong numbers for you there, but give you some, you know, homework to do. All right? Moving right along, we're going to 11:23. It says, but all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. That takes us right back to here, insecta. Those are the only species that we can eat that have those characteristics there. Orthoptera. Search it out. Anything else, if it doesn't fall in this category, it is prohibited. Okay? Verse 24. And for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean until the evening. In other words, with the setting of the sun comes a new day and a new you. Okay? And whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. The carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof and is not cloven-footed, nor chew up the cud, are unclean to you. Every one that toucheth them shall be unclean. Okay, now, continue. It says, verse 27, and whatsoever goeth upon his paws. Now stop. Think about the different mammals that exist and the different mammals that have paws. Dogs are prohibited as a food source. Cats are prohibited as a food source. Now, when I say dog, I'm talking about the canine species, or when I say cat, talking about the feline species. That refers to foxes and wolves, or lions and tigers and so forth. They are prohibited. I don't care what country you live in or continent. These, and that not just here, but for everything that we've named, they were not created to be consumed by human beings. Okay? And whatsoever goes upon his paws, among all manner of beasts that go on all four, those are unclean to you. Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you. Okay? So here's another thought for you. When it says that we're not supposed to touch the dead carcass of these particular animals. There are particular animals there. Does that also mean that we shouldn't have a bearskin rug? Isn't that the part of the dead carcass of a bear who goes upon paws? Does it mean that as well? Think about the other species. Now we're about to get into another group here. Think about the different types of furs. Okay? Think about rabbit. Now rabbit was already mentioned. It's an unclean species. Does that also mean we should not have rabbit fur? Think about it. Does that also mean we should not have sealskin coats? Think about it. These are unclean animals. So if our touching the dead carcass, if you're wearing something sealskin or you're wearing rabbit fur, that means that animal was killed and you're touching part of its dead carcass now. You're unclean. Consider these things. Now, keep in mind, you have wool. In other words, sheepskins are fine. They're clean animals. Leather, which comes from the cattle, or suede, which comes from the cattle, they're fine. Okay? But these other species that we're also using for clothing, these are their dead carcasses that we're wearing. That means that you are unclean. Food for thought. No pun intended. Okay, let's move along. Let me get the board prepared for this next line of species that we're not supposed to eat. And again, I want to encourage everybody, search these things out. Verse 29. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth. Now, the weasel is the species. Mustelidae, and the mouse. Muridae, and the tortoise. Testudinidae, after his kind, verse 30, and the ferret, which is still Mustelidae, and the chameleon. Chameleon is Chameleonidae, and the lizard. Squamata, and the snail. Gastropoda, and the mole. Talpidae. Okay? These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them when they be dead shall be unclean until the evening. Okay? So all of those, again, no more turtle soup. Okay? And if you have mice in your home and you catch a mouse and you take the mouse